What is going on, ladies and gentlemen? Today we have this very nice leather shoulder holster from Craft Holsters. Now, Craft Holsters sells a bunch of different high-end leather holsters. They sell shoulder, inside the waistband, outside the waistband, belts, magazine pouches, etc., etc. And I don't know about you, but I love the way a nice leather holster looks. It just looks really sharp, especially if I had a suit on right now. Very James Bond-esque. I am a wannabe James Bond. Anyway, first thing I noticed about Craft Holsters, they actually have leather holsters and shoulder holsters specifically that work for light and optic ready pistols. I think that's great because I prefer to carry a light and an optic on my gun. And if you're like me, it's cool they have those options. They also have a bunch of holsters for lefties, but who cares about those backwards, folks? All right, the model of this one is a 7122. It is a vertical holster, stores the pistol vertically, and it is made by Falco Holsters. Lost my train of thought. What I have in here is a Wilson Combat 1911. It's my buddy's gun. He let me borrow this for a review, which I've already done. And I figured a nice high-end 1911 deserves a nice high-end leather holster, so I got this holster for his gun. Now, both sides here have belt keepers, adjustable belt tie-downs, belt straps, whatever you want to call it. They are adjustable, of course, for different body types. Some people like to wear their shoulder holster a little higher. I've seen other people wear it a little lower. I don't judge. They're adjustable however you want to do it. Now again, this is a vertical holster. There's pros and cons to that. The more common style is a horizontal holster, and again, there's pros and cons to that. The horizontal holster, obviously, is pointing straight out. So anyone who walks behind you, even though the gun is in the holster and hopefully the safety's on, you're still flagging an innocent person as they walk behind you. God forbid it's a kid or someone who is a little shorter, you might be pointing that weapon right at their head. So the advantage of the vertical holster is the way you store it. If that was to somehow go off, maybe I'll shoot somebody in the foot, maybe, probably not, but it's a little bit safer. The disadvantage of a vertical holster is drawing it. Like the horizontal ones come straight out, the vertical ones are a little tougher to draw, but this one has a little bit of a secret. So it's stored vertically, and it has a strap, of course, a leather clip strap to hold it in place. But when you go to draw, you can rotate the holster down almost to a vertical location. So you get the safety and the comfort, in my opinion, of a vertical holster, but when you go draw, now you get a horizontal holster. So it's kind of cool. It gives you the best of both worlds. We're going to talk a lot more about drawing from a shoulder holster because it's a lot more important to practice a shoulder holster, in my opinion, than a traditional holster. The holster came and it fit really well, both the magazines and the holster, right from the factory. And as a shoulder holster or any leather holster gets more use and they get broken in, they tend to get more comfortable and better as time goes on. One thing Craft Holster does sell is this small break-in kit. It gives you a little bit of liquid and a way to apply it. And if some area is a little bit tighter than you want, or if you want to break in a little faster or whatever, that is one option you can get from them if you want to. So the stitching appears to be very solid, very clean, definitely reinforced. It looks like Falco did a great job with the stitching. The leather itself seems to be very high quality as well. On the website it says it's an Italian leather and German stitching. I have no clue if that's significant, if that means anything, but it sounds really fancy, so I figured I would mention it. The straps are leather here as well. They have a ton of adjustability. The adjustments are done with screws, so it takes a couple seconds extra to adjust them. It's not a quick detach thing. You do need a screwdriver, but once they're, one, those look really nice, and two, once it is adjusted, it's good to go. It doesn't matter. I always recommend you put a little tiny bit of Loctite on there anytime you have any screws, and of course that's what I did with mine as well. The other side here accepts two magazines. It accepts two 1911 magazines. Now that's significant for a couple of reasons. One, 1911s, this particular one only holds 7 rounds. For my opinion, I like to carry more than 7 rounds. You may be different, but I like to carry over 20 rounds. So just for storage purposes, this allows me to carry 22 rounds, and that makes me feel a little bit better. More importantly, with the shoulder holster, you want to balance the weight. The pistol on one side is obviously a lot heavier, and this would sit all funny and uneven. So it works as a counterbalance, a counterweight, having those magazines in there as well. options. So when you buy this holster from them, again, you can go lefty or backwards. You can go righty or backwards lefty. Excuse me. There's a huge list of guns that these are compatible with, that they have holsters for. Huge list. You can get custom embossing. I almost said engraving, but it's leather, so I guess it's embossing. If you want something custom on here, I should have did the Tiberious logo. You can do so, and then obviously you need to know the caliber and the magazine size, so they make the mag pouches the proper size. Last two things I have for you on this holster: they have a buyback guarantee if you don't like it, and they have a 5-year warranty if you have any issues. This is what we're going to do at this point. We're going to talk about testing. I do have to give you a couple really important warnings. Please don't go. Couple really important tips if you're going to rock any shoulder holster, not just this one. Then we'll quickly talk about pros, cons, and then you can go on your way and do what you were doing. So I wore this at first just about around the house and around the yard a whole bunch. I don't carry shoulder holsters extremely often. I have a inexpensive one, nothing as nice as this, but it's not usually my jam, not way I carry very often. So I wore it around just to get comfortable with it, make sure it fit the way I liked. Then I did a bunch of dry firing, drawing the pistol out, getting to that spare magazine, reholstering. I did a lot of dry firing on different days just to make sure I was comfortable. And again, I don't want to put a round through my arm. There's a lot of juicy arteries in there, and I don't know, that would probably not be good. After that, we did take it to the range. Of course, I did some drawing, live fire from the range, and just to see what it's like. Again, very careful, especially when you are reholstering. So, wore it a bunch, used it a bunch. I think I used it enough to have a valid opinion. Before we get into the pros and cons, I want to give you those two really important warnings, and I kind of already mentioned them. But in my opinion, with a shoulder holster, you need to practice more than any other type of holster. When you are drawing out, if there's somebody behind you to the side or out here, you do not want to flag an innocent person. Your trigger finger discipline with a shoulder holster, I think, is a little more important than a traditional holster, because you're coming out, you could easily flag yourself, you could easily flag other people, and that's just something you should avoid if possible. Usually with a shoulder holster, you're going to have a cover garment, so I would recommend you use that opportunity to get your cover garment out of the way, but also get this left support arm out of the way as well. You don't want it here and you start flagging it. Get it out of the way to make sure the cover garment's there and to make sure that gun is not flagging anything it shouldn't. As far as how you bring it out, I think that dictates who's around you. If there's a kid down there, obviously you're not going to point it down. If there's people way out there, maybe you do point it down. So you draw out, and how you get it presented, I think it's going to be situational, dictated by the situation. Last thing with a shoulder holster is be extra careful when you reholster. Never be in a rush to reholster. The only time you should be reholstering if there is no more threat and there's no need to rush. You want to be extra careful. This strap in here that holds the shoulder holster, that holds the pistol in the shoulder holster, you don't want to get in your trigger guard. You don't want to rush. You don't want to flag yourself. You don't want to flag anyone else. So practice drawing and reholstering as much as possible. Anyway, pros: high quality leather, really nice stitch. It's super comfortable, and it's not even started to break in yet. It fits the pistol and the magazines perfectly. They have a lot of different gun options. I like the safety strap. It works well, the clip. And my favorite feature of the holster is the Roto design. It stores it vertically. Makes me feel better. I don't like pointing a gun at people behind me. Even if my finger's off the trigger and the safety's on, I don't want to point a gun at someone who doesn't deserve it. So the Roto draw feature is very cool. I think the biggest advantage, though, is I love the way shoulder holsters look. I just think they look really cool, especially if I had a suit on right now. It just looks really cool. Cons: I don't have a con. Remember, this is a high-end leather holster, so they are not a $40, $50 holster. There are other holsters that price range, but not nearly as nice as this. And again, I'm going to stress it. Remember my warnings. Remember my encouragement to dry fire and practice, and be very careful not to flag yourself or anyone else around you who doesn't deserve to have a gun pointed at them. Before you go, let me quickly thank Craft Holsters for sending me this holster. Let me thank Falco Holster for making a beautiful holster. I have no idea if I'm going to be able to put any affiliate links down in the video description. I will look around and see if anyone sells this holster or if Craft Holsters is on any of my affiliate programs. If they are, I'll put that link down there and hopefully find you a good deal. If not, I'm sorry. I apologize. We'll get through it. Let me also point out my new swag. cool guy swag. Now the cool thing about this shirt, if you buy one of these shirts from TriStar Trading, the link is down in the video description, and you put it on, you will instantly become 5,000% cooler than you are before you put the shirt on. It is amazing. Every video, your coolness goes up and up and up. Alright, most important, guys, thank you very, very much for watching. It is greatly, greatly appreciated. Again, if you think I deserve it, like and comment. It's free, really helps out the algorithms. More importantly, subscribe to the channel, enable those bell notifications. Once again, it's free, it doesn't hurt, and it definitely helps me out, and I definitely, definitely appreciate it. I will see you guys next time. Peace.